Hello everyone, I am Avni Agrawal and today in this particular video we would be seeing the basics of the company law. This basics will help you to build a structure and make you understand what exactly company law is and how do you deal with it. In today's video, the following are the learning objectives: the introduction to the company law, meaning and definition of company, attributes of the company, and types of company. So, introduction to company law. What do you mean by company law actually? So, company law is something which deals with the structure, management, administration, and conduct of affairs of the company. It basically makes the companies aware of how are they going to deal with their day-to-day businesses, how are they going to continue with their business, what are their rights, what are their duties towards their customers, what law they will follow, what are the rights and duties and obligations of the companies, what the law needs to be amended regularly, how they improve their status, and how they are going to carry out their day-to-day affairs. The company law is also regulated by the Companies Act 1956, which is now amended and shifted to Companies Act 2013. The act is the basic aspect of the company law and it helps the company right from its incorporation to its dissolution to act in a particular manner. Now, what is incorporation? Incorporation is a basic term which means the formation of the company, like how the company will be formatted, what are the laws, what are the conditions which you have to go through before you actually start the working process in the company. And dissolution is when the company is not able to carry out its business and there are liabilities more than the assets of the company, then the company moves to the dissolution process. Now we'll understand what is the meaning of the term company. So the word company is derived from the Latin word which is compens. So compens is the formation of two words. One is com, which means together, and the second is penis, which means bread. So together it means that group of person who eat the bread together. Here also in general term, what does the company say? A company is a group of like-minded people, same-minded people who have similar thoughts. They come together to carry out some form of business. Now, what is actually the definition of the company and where do we get this definition? So the Companies Act 2013 under section 2 clause 20 says a company means a company as incorporated under this act or under any previous company law. Under this act is the Companies Act 2013 which is amended, and any other previous company law can be the company law under Companies Act under 1956 or any other law for the time being which is existing in the country which has the existence of this company. So to summarize, a company is an association of both natural and artificial person which is incorporated under this act. Now, what do we actually mean from this natural and artificial person? We'll see in the further slides. Now we'll see the attributes or the characteristics of the company. So the very first attribute is incorporated association. So what do you mean by incorporated association is? A company is a registered association. It is registered under the Companies Act 1956 or the amended Act Companies Act 2013. So it is very necessary for all the companies to be registered under this act and it needs to be incorporated under the Companies Act 2013. Next is artificial person. So artificial person is another important characteristic of the company. So company from the birth itself is not a natural person, it is not a human being, but rather it is an artificial person. It is created by law. Being an artificial person, it cannot take an oath on its name, but it can appear in the court of law. So like a natural person, company has this authority to buy property in its own name, to sell property in its own name, make agreements or enter into any type of contracts. Next is separate legal entity. Again, that is one of the most important characteristics of the company, separate legal entity. So separate legal entity means a company is separate from its members. The members of the company and the company, they are both different from each other. They do not join each other and become one. So what it does is, company it can enter into contract on its own name. It does not require the name of its members to enter into some contract. If there is this company ABC Limited and it wants to enter into some contract with suppose XYZ Limited, so it can get into the contract with XYZ Limited on its own name, that is ABC Limited. Also, because of this characteristic, it can enter into any contract, again buy property in its own name, borrow or lend money in its own name, and even the company can file suit in its own name, or rather what we say is the company can be sued or be sued. We'll see this characteristic in the further slides. Next is perpetual succession. So perpetual succession means that the existence of the company is not dependent on its members. Now, why it is not dependent on its members? Because the company has the characteristic of separate legal entity. The member is different from the company. So the perpetual succession says that the members may come, the members may go, but the company goes on forever. So there may be a situation where the directors are changing, where the shareholders are changing, but that doesn't change the existence of the company. The company just goes on until there is the situation that the company is now in a state where it has to dissolve. Next characteristics which we see is capacity to sue and be sued, which we have already discussed in the previous one. That is, a company can go to the court and file a suit in its own name, or it can file a suit for some other person which has done some wrong to the company. So basically it can sue also, and the company can get sued as well. Also, the next characteristic which we see is limited liability. Now, this is also one of the most important characteristics which we see in the Companies Act, the limited liability of the members. This is only present in the when the person is in the company structure, because one person this sole proprietorship or partnership, they have the liabilities of the members attached with it, that is unlimited liability. Their personal assets are also attached. But when we come to company, when we talk about company, then the members here have limited liability. They do not have the liability of their personal assets. Their personal assets are not attached to the company, so that to pay off the debts of the company. So here the liability will be limited of the members only to the amount of shares which are held by them, and their personal property cannot be used to pay off the debts which the company holds. The next characteristic is number of members. So the number of members here is again different. We have the types of companies which we will see in the further slides. Here we'll just see what number of members are required to actually incorporate and start a company, where there is a public company and when there is a private company. So when we talk about public company, the minimum number of members which a public company requires is 7, and there is no limit as to what the maximum number should be. But when we talk about private company in this context, then the minimum number of members in a private company should be 2, and the maximum, as it has already been given in the law, is 200. And in this 200, it excludes the present and the past employees of the company. Next characteristics which we see is transferability of shares. Again, there has to be it has to be taken note of the public company and private company both. When we talk about public company, then the shares can be freely transferred, and there is no restriction on the transfer of the shares. You can transfer shares to A, B, C, D as you wish. There is no restriction on the part of the company that no, you should only transfer your shares to this particular member. But when we talk about private companies, then there is restriction on the transfer of shares. They are not freely transferable. So now we would see the types of the companies. So there are several types of companies when we talk about the Companies Act. So first is the limited liability company. Now the term limited liability only, it's very clear that the liability of the members of the company are limited to the number of shares which they held. So the members do not have their personal assets attached to pay off the debts of the company. Here again, the liability of the members can be evaluated on the basis of the number of shares or the value of the shares as they are written in the MOA or the AOA of the company. So if the MOA or the AOA says that the number of shares has to be the liability has to be determined on the number of shares, then the same would be seen as the number of shares. If this MOA says that no, the value of the shares have to be determined while checking on the liability, then the value of the shares would be checked. And if it says that the liability is limited by guarantee, then as the members have agreed upon that they would guarantee this much amount for the to pay off the debts of the company, that amount has to be paid by them as per the written document at the time of liquidation. Next is unlimited liability. Again, it is very clear from the word. Unlimited liability is the members are liable for their personal assets as well. So a company where the liability of its members is not limited and the personal assets of the members are also attached, and they are liable personally also for the payment of the debts of the company, there it is unlimited liability company. Next is government company. So government company is again very simple, where the government holds more than 51% of the shares of the company. It is simply government company because the government will have the major stake in that company, and it will hold and it will take the responsibility of the company majorly. Next is holding company. So holding company is a company which holds 50% or more than 50% of shares in another company. So suppose this is ABC Limited and there is another ABC Limited subsidiary which is XYZ Limited. So if ABC Limited is holding more than 50% of shares in XYZ Limited, so ABC Limited will be the holding company for the XYZ Limited. Next we see is subsidiary company. So subsidiary company is a company in which 50% or more than 50% of share is held by another company. So for again the same example, if ABC Limited invested 52% of shares in XYZ Limited, then ABC Limited would be the holding company for XYZ Limited and XYZ Limited would be the subsidiary for the same. Next is private company. So private company is defined under section 2 clause 68 of the Companies Act, and the private company has the following characteristics. That is, it has to have a minimum of 2 members and maximum of 200 members, which will not include the past and the present employees of the company. There has to be 2 directors minimum, and it cannot issue their shares in public, in which shares are not freely transferable. So we have already seen these characteristics previously also in the while defining the attributes of the company. The same applies here. And the public company, it is again defined under section 2 clause 71 of the Companies Act, and it is a company which is not a private company. We always take this definition. While defining the public company, we will just take the opposite of the private company, defining it as a public company is a company which is not a private company, and it has a minimum number of members is 7, and the maximum is not defined. It is infinite for now. There should be 3 directors minimum for starting a public company, and the shares are freely transferable over here. Next we see is one person company. So one person company is a new concept, which means a company which has only one person as a member. So like we see in public company or in private company, you require 2 members or 7 members to start a company. But when we talk about one person company, it is like a sole proprietorship, not exactly sole proprietorship, but kind of sole proprietorship. So here only one person is required, which is a member of the company, and it has to be a natural person. So that is all for today's video. Thank you.